Kuhn Cassius, IFLTV, very late here at Wembley. Steve, not the fact that Dubois won, but were you shocked by the manner in which he won?
Absolutely. In fact, I've got a theory, Coog. If you said, oh, I knew Dubois would knock him out, you didn't really predict what was going on there. Let's go there, because no one predicted that. Dubois was smarter, he was faster, he was timing things, he was leading AJ, he was bullying AJ. No one predicted any of those things because they weren't even on the table in the fantasy. On that fantasy table, they weren't even on it. I thought Dubois was brilliant from the very start. And I hope this doesn't become an instance, and I think we probably were guilty of it early on the BBC, and we're probably guilty of it on TNT. I hope this doesn't become a situation where all we talk about is how bad AJ was, and we neglect how good Dubois was, because Dubois was brilliant from the very start. Before he drops AJ right on the bell or near the bell to end the first round, he's already boxing brilliantly. Dubois, he's backing AJ out with the jab. His hands are sensible. He's feinting with shots. It was his best performance by a million miles.
Yeah, I think you make a very good point there, not to kind of overestimate Joshua's performance and underestimate what Dubois did, which was phenomenal.
It really was, and I had a couple of words of AJ, and of course he's in a bleak place. He's in a horrible place, and that's understandable. But he did say to me, I made a lot of mistakes, and I understand he watched the fight back in his dressing room. Coog, and he's a smart enough man, even no matter how tired and emotional he is. He'll be watching that, and he'll be screaming, "What are your hands doing down there?" Lennox Lewis, I worked with Lennox Lewis. After 4 seconds, Lennox Lewis whacks me, and that's a considerable whack, by the way. He says, "Bunce, man, what's with his chin?" And then you look, his chin's up in the air. I mean, he's actually leaning it back, so you've got to feel it on the back of your neck. What's that about? That's before he gets hit, by the way. So that's not a reaction to having been hit. That's like in the first 10 seconds. How does that work? He looks so much better and calmer and relaxed. His hands have been good. His chin's been tucked away in the Hellenius fight, in the Valin fight, and in the Ngannou fight. And okay, I understand what Ngannou was. I understand all that. But he just looked. He came out tonight like a different fighter. He came out tonight like he was having some concerns about his confidence. Whereas all week long, I mean, did you get any sense this week, that there was anything wrong?
No.
I mean, even you dismiss all the rumours. I had no sense. In fact, I was quite concerned about the whole Don Charles thing and him not being around, knowing how much Dubois and Charles had spent together, talking, going for it. And he was away all week. Now, irrespective of why he was away, I was concerned about that. That's even dismissing the rumours. But boy, oh boy, what a slugfest! What a night! We thought Vlad and AJ was good. We've just sat through 4 rounds of 59 seconds of utter, complete and total mayhem.
Steve, I know it's late, so just the last one. If we go back to 2019, where Joshua had his first defeat against Andy Ruiz, now, which was a shock to everyone at that time. He was meant to become the replacement opponent after the Jaron Miller situation. Now, Joshua, after that devastating loss, decided to go back in the ring 6 months later, and he put the wrong right. This is a different situation here, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think it's a different situation because he's a bit older and he's got to be looking at what he's got left and how many he's got left, and maybe he'll be looking at this and he'll be looking at that. It's a totally different situation because he was so convinced after that fight, after the Ruiz fight, that he would win the rematch and the way he would win it. If we were sitting next to him now somewhere as he's relaxing, I'm not sure he'd have the same confidence. He might say, you know what, I'll do this, I'll do that, whereas he was total, you were around him a lot then, Coog. He was total belief that if he gets Ruiz again, he was going to walk it. Total belief. He's not stupid. I don't think he'd have the same total belief that he would beat Dubois in a rematch. He might say it, but it's feeling it.
We don't know what the rematch clause situation is.
No,
and even if there is one, we don't know whether Matchroom, Eddie Hearn and Joshua will take that. We don't know. We know in heavyweight boxing now there's a lot of different opportunities that could sway them.
That's the truth. Let me ask you a question, Coog. Would you like to see AJ walk away?
No.
Why not?
Because...
What's he got to prove?
I'm not saying he's got anything to prove, but I'm saying that if we're going to base this off that loss, or are we basing it off the fact he's had 4 losses? What we basing? Why should he retire? For what reason? Because before this night, we were saying how the confidence has come back. He's like 4 back-to-back wins since the Usyk second loss, etc. So why, after a devastating puncher like Daniel Dubois, which we always knew was a possibility, might not be in everyone's favourite to go into this fight and win, but it was always a possibility. Why should he retire now?
I'm not necessarily believing he should retire, but if he did, I wouldn't be bothered. And I'll tell you for why. Because for a start, we're nearly 6 years on, or 5.5 years on from that loss. We've had all those other different types of fights. He's proved stuff. He's come back. He's done this. He's done that. I think after Ruiz, he had an awful lot of things to prove. I think now he hasn't really got an awful lot of things to prove.
Do you think he should retire?
Me personally, if he walked away, I would not be bothered. Yeah, I'm not saying he should retire, but if he walked away, I would not be upset.
Who's got a better chance of winning the rematch out of Fury and Joshua, if Joshua is to have a rematch with Dubois? Hypothetical.
See you later. It could be either one of them, because the 5th round might be. The 5th round was kind of the fight I expected. AJ with his hands a bit higher, trying to push Joshua back. But we only saw 50 seconds of it before he was knocked cold.
It looked like it was really got going then as well. I know, yeah.
We could have had. How about this? We could have had an even better fight than we got, because Dubois might have weathered that storm in that round and the 6th and the 7th round and come back in the 8th. Oh!
Ifs and buts.
Let me get going.
Steve, thank you very much. God bless. Thank you for your time this week.